is rbradio.com. Here we are at last, and the Tilton Talk show, sponsored by the ELO Group, kicks off tonight with an absolute cracker. Shortly we should have a truly magnificent megastar in our midst, but Saturday was a lovely warm day at St Andrews and a respectable crowd for the first game of the season. Two of my boys with me too saw a goalless draw against Cardiff. Things around St Andrews all of a sudden are starting to look positive. All we've had since the Tilton Talk show started 5 seasons ago has been doom and gloom. Can we just see a glimpse of the light at the end of the tunnel and finally get our beautiful football club back on track? Well, the season's up and running and we're already 1 point ahead of them up the road. I'm not getting too excited yet though, as we go full steam ahead, but sadly for them, they've just found out what the championship's all about. Blues ladies through to the semi-final with a last-minute goal against Liverpool. It's all looking good. So once again, strap yourselves in, ladies and gents, and get ready for the ride ahead. The Tilton Talk show, made by the fans, for the fans, is back. Just another season in the life of a Blue Nose. Well, the sun is shining in the sky. Not a cloud to spoil the view. Cracking draw the weekend, Christopher?
It was, if you can't win your first game, then don't lose it.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's off. You can tell it's the first show back, can't you?
Just talk about yourself,
Oh dear me. Right, okay. So the draw, just very quickly, the draw tonight has just been made for the ladies' semi-final, and it sounds like it's going to be good news.
Yes, it's as good news as it could be. Blues obviously. Yesterday played Liverpool at home in the quarterfinals. My heart couldn't take much more of it. 121st minute winner in extra time. So we went through to the semi-finals. The other teams in the draw were Arsenal ladies, Man City ladies, or WSL side London Bees, and we've drawn London Bees away from home. So,
which is good news because it was, a lot of people saying it was going to be a Man City Arsenal final, and now it's not.
Yeah, it's
so
not going to be that. No,
there we
are. And obviously Blues, you can't write off any team once you get to the semi-final stage.
Not at all.
But if you're given the option of a WSL 2 side or Man City or Arsenal, then you obviously want the WSL 2 side. So I think it's the best chance Blues have got of getting to the final. I think it's the 3rd or 4th, the weekend, 3rd or 4th September. So
okay.
That'll be the semi-final.
Okay, well, we'll look out for that one. As I said in my introductory notes, or read, or whatever you want to call it, is that we had a truly wonderful megastar in our midst tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
To think about that, didn't you?
A
you were thinking of the right words then.
Do you know, sometimes when you get lost for words, words kind of just go. Welcome, the one and only, Mr. Tom Ross. Tom Ross, ladies and gents.
My ex-wives don't find hard work finding good words for me.
Does she know you're here?
All of them do.
Stops. Thanks ever so much, Tom, for coming in. This is our first Tilton Talk show of the 2015-16-17 season, beg your pardon. We have done a ladies special before a couple of weeks ago. We put that out on Facebook, and that had over 7,000 hits on the video.
The ladies, aren't they?
Yeah, 7,000 hits on the video, which was absolutely tremendous. And then, as Chris was just saying, a brilliant result for them on Sunday. And through now to the semi-final.
Two players, I wondered if that was going to make a difference.
Doesn't seem to have done. We had a couple of the girls in a couple of weeks ago, and they were very positive. So
that was certainly the worry at the start of the season. But full credit to everyone, the management, the staff, and all the players. They've, like we said last week, the biggest compliment I can pay is that we haven't noticed that those players have gone, sort of thing. So
it's crazy though, isn't it? It's like Man City have made it as big a problem as the Premier League in men's football now.
Massively,
ridiculous, crazy. I'm telling you, with all due respect, women's football should be about fun and should be about women enjoying the game and playing the game well. Yeah. They've turned it into a massive multi-million pound business. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
absolutely stupid.
I see that side of it, but you see the point that people have got to get paid as well for doing what they do.
Cool, we're getting paid, but they've made it ridiculous.
Man City certainly have,
They've blown everyone out of the water in the last 2 or 3 years.
Oh, well, let's just hope we stuff them in the final if they get through.
The final's funnily enough, the final is being held at Man City's ground.
We did that.
Hell of a ground as well, by the way.
If we could, what a perfect way to end the season that would be, to go to Man City and beat them on their own turf to win the cup. That would be brilliant.
Ladies and gents, Tom Ross in the studio with us tonight. Tilton Talk through with you till 9 o'clock. This is what we do every Monday, Tom.
Fantastic.
We turn up here every Monday, and we do this because we love it. We do it because we love it. That's
why not?
What beautiful words! Beautiful words. That iconic voice, Tom, of yours, as Chris was saying, prior to the show, he's 27, and you've been in this business.
Long time.
30 something odd years.
So
you were doing this.
1977 was my first game.
1977,
and that was for what is now WM, and it was for what was Radio Birmingham then, under Tim Russon, and it was a Birmingham game. It was a pre-season friendly against Ajax, and I remember that day as well. It was fantastic. And from that day, and then 1981, I went to BRMB with Tony Butler. Tony Butler called me and said, "Listen, come and meet me at the D Club."
You still see Tony?
Yes, because I don't see him. I speak to him. He don't get out too much at the moment. Okay. But yeah, he's not been too well, but he's okay. He still gets just about mobile enough to get the pub.
Bless him. You know, I'm 54 years old myself, and you go back in years, and iconic voices. Number one, your own Tony Butler, certainly. Hugh Johns. These guys won't remember these people. Hugh Johns on a Sunday afternoon. Star Soccer Sunday afternoon.
Star Soccer. But so that was my first blues game on the radio, and you have to go back to '56 for my first blues game as a fan.
As a fan, and which was your first game? Do you remember it?
West Brom. Yeah, it was a birthday treat for my dad in April.
Brilliant.
And in 1956, I was only a toddler, young lad, and he took me to the game, and Blues won 2-1, and they'd already reached the FA Cup final. So I'm sitting there thinking, I've picked the right team, haven't I? What a mistake that was. But I wouldn't have swapped a moment.
It takes a certain calibre, though, to be a Birmingham City fan, doesn't it? It takes a certain kind of individual.
It's easy work. Being Villa, with all due respect, Villa, not at the moment, no. Villa, with their history, Man United, easy. Yeah. Hard work being a Blue Nose.
Yeah, but good work.
Great work.
Love it.
Labour of love.
I just can't even believe to tell you.
Before I came out, I was listening to the fan singing "Keep Right On."
Wasn't that incredible? Wasn't that incredible? I was there on Saturday.
Well, Alex was a great friend of mine, and the hairs on the back of him, it stood up. But you know, hearing him years ago, I did a video for Blues called "The History of the Blues," and I found Alex, got him on it, and Gil Merrick, a few others as well. It was absolutely amazing to talk to him about "Keep Right On." And every time we met, and he became such a good lad, I introduced him to my dad, because my dad came down from Scotland, and he chose Birmingham because of people like Alex Govan.
Right, yeah.
Scotsman. And so I introduced my dad to him, and this is the measure of the type of man he was, and the type of footballers they were then. Every day, every Christmas, from that day till he passed away, my dad, he sent him a Christmas card.
Bless.
Do you think? Can you see?
How nice is that?
Can you see Pogba doing that to someone? Can you? Exactly. You couldn't. It wouldn't happen. And that's why Birmingham's a special.
It is a special place. And I was there on Saturday, and I was just behind the goal in the Tilton, and as they walked the families and the relatives and friends out.
Amazing,
and it just came up on the screen, and everybody just instantly stood up and was clapping, and that clap that just automatically turned into a perfect rendition of "Keep Right on the End of the Road." I was sobbing. I was look at it. Yeah. That's what it does.
I listened again today because I had my headphones on then.
These always laugh at me for me goosebumps. I've only got to talk about the Blues and that happens.
It made me tingle today, and it takes a lot to do that to me. You know, being a bit cynical, but I was amazed by it, and just shows you the overwhelming wealth of passion for the football club.
And do you know something else that I really appreciate as well? All those family members turned around and applauded.
Yeah.
And that was a lovely gesture. And I said to my two boys, and they were with me on Saturday, I said, "You've just seen something very special."
Absolutely right. Very special indeed.
Yeah.
You know, sadly, we the Former Players Association, which I'm chairman, we have our newsletter out, and on the front we've got the 5 that have died this year. Cause I had to do my notes, so it was like an obituary column. It was terrible. Freddie Goodwin, Alex, of course, Georgie Allen, Eamon Dolan, even young Eamon, who was a young man, really. And I mean, I can remember going when Bill Caldwell had taken over in a caretaker capacity, when Terry Cooper had just gone. It was amazing to see him getting arrested by the police for throwing snowballs at the fans, at the Exeter fans. The police came in the dressing room. It was amazing. But that was he was an eccentric footballer.
You want it though, don't you?
But he won he brought so many youngsters to Reading. in their academy. They've honoured him. I think they'll never stand after him, which
massively appreciated at Reading.
Which is amazing. It started at West Ham, of course, which is a breeding ground for great players as well. So it was a rather sad. And Dave Robinson, Sugar, of course, who I know very well from Birmingham, passed away as well. So sad. Sad, but the memories you have are fantastic.
And I think that St Andrews is just an amazing place. I just love that place.
All my memories are not commentating.
No,
my memories are as a fan. Because my dad took me, and we used to go into the Cop right at the bottom. He'd put me down on the wall.
You probably stood next to me quite a few times back in the day.
And I'm a lot older than you. And he would go.
He doesn't look, he does he?
And he would go and stay with his mates at the back. Yeah. And every week I took my boots in case they were short. It was amazing.
Did you ever get a game?
Stupid, no, stupid. But my point is that was there. Then as I got a bit, apart from when it was European games and my mum liked to go. European games, that sounds well, doesn't it? The Intercities Fair Cup. Then we'd stand in the family stand, which was the railway end at the very bottom, the paddock it was called. But when I got a bit older, I wanted to go with my mates, didn't I? So I was at Tilton. I was one of the lads of the Tilton, just to the left of the goal.
That's actually our theme tune, We Are the Lads to the Tilton. And,
Colin Phillips combo did the song, We Are the Lads from the Tilton. And he's a great lad, Colin, as well. Big blue nose. I don't know whether he's still alive.
I'd love to get him in there, actually.
I don't know whether he's still alive. He must be.
We use his
the B-side was the Birmingham Blues.
Yes.
And We Are the Lads from the Tilton. And I was a Tilton lad. And when I got the job doing the tannoy announcing in the centre box, it was lovely box, sandwiches. I hated it. So I'd do the team news at 5 to 3 and run round to stand with my mates on the Tilton, then run back at half time and run back again for the second half.
Again, it could only be a Birmingham City fan that
absolutely. It was great because I don't know you're
kind of the Barry Fry of broadcasting, aren't you?
You wouldn't remember. In those days, they had they only had 3 speakers. And they were where the tunnel is now, in that corner.
They were like great big round ones.
Big round ones.
Yes, I remember them.
So
yeah.
if you were on the Tilton corner, you couldn't hear anything. But if you were that side where the speakers were, you were deafened. I was getting people moaning they couldn't hear and people moaning they were deafened.
If I remember, they were white.
Yeah,
great big long tubes on the back of them.
Old-fashioned. The only thing missing was the dog sitting beneath it. That was the only thing missing. But I love doing that as well. I love doing that stuff. And
So how did you get introduced into doing that then?
Well, it's funny. It's quite funny. I was in a previous life my company had sponsored a game at the Blues, and I met Trevor Francis because he was the man of the match. And I'd decided he was going to be man of the match, whether he had a bad game or whether he was sub or whether he was injured. He was going to be man of the match because I wanted to meet Trevor Francis. And I got on great with him.
He wasn't playing.
No, yeah. I got on great with him and I met Jasper. That was the first time I met Jasper as well. And really got on well with him. And about 2 weeks later, my phone went at home and it was a voice saying, Trevor Francis here. And I thought it was my mates telling me. I said, oh... sort of, or words to that like that, and put the phone down. And he rang back. It wasn't me, Trevor Francis. I thought it was my mates winding me up. And he said, come over to my place, because he knew I love music. And we started to swap up records. And he put a word in with the commercial director, Jeff Greaves, who was the commercial director at the time. And Jeff rang me and said, would you like to do... Trevor says you're good, you can play some music. Would you like to do the tannoy? I said, absolutely. That then got me the taste to go into hospital radio, and then radio... BBC and so really it was down to Trevor really that I got into radio at all in many ways because he started the platform. Although when I was offered full time and I'd got to give up work, it was Jasper and Gary Newbon that said,
so what were you doing at that time then?
Well, it's been a checkered career. I started off in the electrical wholesale industry when I left school, and then eventually in that I was general manager at a couple of places. I went and started for City Electrical Factors. I opened up their Scottish operation. Right. Then I started my own business in Acock, not far from here, to be fair, with a couple of other people, and we were ripped off for fortunes by somebody who went bust. So then I thought, I've had enough. I'm getting out of this business. And then I went to work for a company called Dun & Bradstreet, one of the largest companies in the world. And I ended up as national sales manager, based in London, living in Birmingham, travelled every day, so I didn't want to live there. Into the city, so I had big jobs, and I gave up that to come and work full time in radio, and took a 66% drop in salary to follow my dream. Best decision I ever made.
When it is a dream, that's what you've got to do.
Best decision. I mean, I made that up eventually, but it was a big decision at the time because the ex wasn't too happy about me giving up. My mum, first thing she said, "When are you going to get a proper job?" That was it. But it was the best decision I ever made, and here I am 36 years later and still doing it and still loving it.
Cracking. I had a couple of questions this morning. One was from a gentleman called Paul Fitzhenry. He says, can you please ask Tom, or tell Tom that he owes me a Bronx hat from a phone call in 1995 that he never got.
No, I'm sure. I'm just all right. Oh yes. As I put out earlier about, I'll just give the news now. I put out earlier that the only thing missing from Che Evans' deal being completed was the personal terms. Well, they've been completed. It's done. It's a done deal. He's signed.
There you go. Not news off the press. Che Evans is now a Birmingham City player.
Yeah.
That's, I had funny feelings, today. There was a lot of...
Che Adams. Not Evans, for goodness sake.
Adams.
Was it Che Evans? It was who got into all the trouble, wasn't it? Yeah. Che Adams. Che Adams, yes, Che Adams. So, that's good. He's arrived, so that's good.
The Birmingham Mail had reported earlier that, this is not going to happen almost, it was like a bit of negativity going on.
Well, I think, listen, let's get it absolutely clear. What happens, this is why I hate this. I've been on holiday, just got back from holiday a week or so ago, and I must have seen 15 to 20 names on social media, Birmingham linked with.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, so I've kept away from it, and I'd rather tell you when it's happening. And this has happened. I've known about Che for some time, but I knew the Mexican standoff was happening. Him and his agent. Firstly, Sheffield United not enough, and it was backwards and forwards. And at one time it looked like it might not happen. Then it was back on, and I think that's exactly where we're at now. Is that it got to the stage where his agent, the clubs agreed the fee. Then it was personal terms and medical. Once it got to the clubs agreeing the fee, there was never any doubt because he wanted to come anyway.
There's so many. This is just Blues against Sheffield United against Che Adams and his agent. There's so many across the world that transfers that are basically that story over and over again, aren't they?
In days gone by, when I was first gone, the manager get you in, you say sign it, and you sign it, and you see it. Now you deal with solicitors, agents, and the wife occasionally, the player's wife. You have to get permission. You get all that sort of stuff. But I think Che always wanted to come. And if you're in that situation, it's a great starting point. But if you show your hand, and maybe occasionally the story coming out that says, well, it ain't going to happen, Blues might just prompt the opposition to move quick. So sometimes you have to read between the lines a little bit.
5 years ago, we couldn't hold on to a player for life. Now we've got players wanting to come.
Which is good.
And as I said in the introduction, things around St Andrews all of a sudden are starting to look positive. All we've had since the Tilton Talk show started 5 seasons ago has been doom and gloom. Can we just see the glimpse of the light at the end of the tunnel and finally get our beautiful football club back on track?
Well, it is. I think
it's getting there.
The one thing that's been since the receivers called the EGM, and I remember doing a column in the Birmingham Mail and online and on my Monday night programme saying the end's in sight. I got a lot of stick from some Blues fans, and with Blues it's typical. The end might be in sight, but it might take a little bit of time to get to that end. Sure. But once the receivers had done that deal with Carson, and remember there was legal battles between the two, if you remember.
Yes. They
was counter-suing and suing and all the rest of it. Once they got agreement, look, we won't sue each other, this is what's going to happen. Once they got to that stage, it was always then going to happen, and thankfully now Trilly and Asia, we'll see what they bring.
And I think also we've got to be very thankful to Ernst & Young, who are a very reputable company,
massively reputable company,
for their input.
They've been well paid for it, though, let's be fair.
Well, yes, I'm sure they have, but they are probably the best in the business.
No, and at least with them, you feel that it's honest and it's truthful. You know what I mean? You feel that it's proper.
Yes.
And I think that's the important thing as well. So I'm delighted that to hear about Trilly and Asia sticking around for 2 years, investing some money for transfers. We ain't going to be mega, but for 2 years, then they'll sell it because they're an investment company. So let's wait and see. But for me, just to end that past regime.
Yes. Awful.
But I will say, under Carson Young and not Peter Banner, I think. Under Carson Young, we won the Carling Cup and finished highest in the Premier League. Had his assets not been frozen, it might have been a different story. But the minute his assets were frozen...
Well, not money laundered.
Yeah. Had he not gone to prison? I suppose you're absolutely right. But you know what I'm saying? At that time, we didn't know he was going to prison. But they froze his assets and he couldn't put a penny into Birmingham. So, but after that, when it got to Peter, and there's a lot of, in my book, there's a chapter called Chinese Whispers, where I've all the texts, all the emails I had from Peter and my replies, I've reprinted them. Word for word, spelling mistakes and all, because I didn't want anybody to say exactly as that went with him and I. I think what sometimes people fail to realise is you can only ask a question as a journalist. It ain't my job to then look at you in the face and say, you liar, I can't do that.
Yeah. It's a very difficult one.
It is because we're governed... You're not governed by anybody.
Not governed, no, which is why we ask the question we want to ask.
Exactly. Well, it's not about asking the question. It's about accepting the answer. Now, in our business, we're governed by Ofcom. And that's a massive responsibility. You get a complaint against you by Ofcom, you're going to get the sack.
The only thing that we have, Tommy, we do have a constitution, and we're not allowed actually to promote books on the Tilton Talk show.
Good.
Tell us about the book, Tom.
Good. No, I won't promote the book, but in a recent publication that I wrote, I've been talking about... I'm joking.
Did you bring any copies with you, by the way?
That was a Fulton Horses book. That was a Del Boy thing. Do you remember?
Did you bring any copies with you?
No, because the reason is... But I will give you some.
It's not give.
Because let me explain. It's the publishers. Once I've written it, I'm now to do with it.
There's nothing to do with you, I know. Yeah,
it's the publishers. Yeah. We've one or two of the people. They went out before they should have done because it was the 1st of August, but a few got them early. It was the publishers got professional proofreaders in. I got a few people to look at it, like Colin Tatters. I run through this comic, everything, and everything. But there's still one or two little things that somebody's found and everything else. So I'm waiting for my copies to come, which I've got to get to the press. I mean, I've got to go on radio stations and stuff as well. Yeah. And I need them.
Because you're doing a book signing in Waterstones in a couple of weeks, aren't you?
At the 24th of August. And I'm having a few people, a few ex-players will be down there helping as well.
Which Waterstones is that one?
The one in, it's the bottom of New Street. You know,
right, okay.
I forget what it's called, Facing it. I think there's only one Waterstones now. But that's by ticket only, and it's gone very well. The book's gone very well. It went to, I don't know what it is now, but it went to number 5 in the football charts and number 1 in the radio bestsellers. So, Brilliant. So listen, I don't know whether it's good or bad. If it's rubbish, at least you're helping charity.
Can we download it, Tom?
No, you won't be able to. You can
no, I've tried today.
Oh, Kindle.
You can get it on Kindle.
That's great.
I tried to download a copy today, but couldn't.
You can get it on Kindle.
Okay, I'll have a look at that then.
Listen, I put what I tell you, if I can just explain about it. Sorry if I'm arguing it, pal.
Sure.
What I'm trying to do is, I've been asked for years and years, write your book, tell your stories, and I've turned it down because, if I'm honest, I thought, who the hell I want to read that? But but then last year I was asked, do you want to do it? By a guy you'd know actually, Keith Dixon, who wrote Robbo's book and Captains and all that.
Yeah, we've had Robbo. Robbo's been in.
Great guy, does all this stuff, brilliant. And I said, oh, goodness sake, I had to think about it at home, and I decided, because I went to my granddaughter's school, which is in Park Hall in Castle Bromwich.
I don't know, I'm not from around these parts, so...
Park Hall in Castle Bromwich, and they tell their kids, like, if you don't go to university, you won't earn money. If you don't do this, and I got really, really angry because, for me, I wanted to show youngsters, even if you don't go to university, because I did have a gap weekend, between leaving school on Friday and starting on Monday, but I wanted to show youngsters, listen, you can be anything you want in this world without going to university. If you've got desire, hard work, commitment, and you can do anything you want. I wanted to show kids. I don't want them to go around feeling second-class citizens because they didn't go to university. And most of the university graduates I know are working at McDonald's anyway.
Yeah,
so, you know what I'm saying? So I got really angry about that. So that was one of the things that I wanted. The second reason was I wanted my grandkids and their kids to know what the granddad did. And this was my way of therapeutically for me as well, get it all down and before I lose my memory and marbles totally. So I wanted to listen, get everything down from because I was born in the inner city back slums of Birmingham, where you had no electricity, gas mantles, you had one bedroom, one attic, and there was 8 of us at that time, and a tin bath, fire, outside loo.
Remember it well.
That's how I grew up, and
Chris has still got them, really. It's just the tin bath and, the gas mantles. It's still in your living room, at the kid.
So that's where I grew up. I went in Summer Lane, which is off Summer Lane, between Summer Lane and Newtown Row, Villa Park territory, to be fair. And I went to St Chad's School, which was 99.999% recurring Villa. There was me and my mate Cornelius Walsh, who were Blues. So I got beat up regularly when I was younger in cause for the cause. But so that's how I grew up. But I wanted to get that down because I get angry as well. These days it's all about material things. It's all about gadgets and iPods and everything. We didn't have that. We didn't have anything like that. None of my mates had anything. I had to have free boots from from the mail. Free boots because, Mum and Dad were both out of work at the time. And I wanted to show people, don't let that put you off. I had a light bulb changing moment when I was very young. I ended up in the cells at Bridge Street West Police Station, and it was from there on that my old man taught me in our chat afterwards. He was a tough-nosed Glaswegian who never had a car, never owned a house, never had the proverbial pot. But he taught me to live my life by my standards, not anybody else's. So I don't care what you guys do. I'm living my life by my standards. Secondly, he said, never be afraid to pick your wages up. In other words, work hard. And 3, don't let anybody take the pee. And that's how I've lived my life. That's exactly how I've lived my life.
Okay, getting back to some more of these questions then.
Sorry about that. Ramble. No, you didn't invite me. It's your fault.
It's the other side of Tom Ross that we didn't know, you know what I mean? And that's great to know. Yeah. But there's been a bit of fun going around on the social media today. Yeah. And how much do you hate the Villa on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being hate them as much as I do, and 1 being you like them.
Well, let me put it. It's a good question, actually, because I don't hate anybody. I think you can be passionate about your country, you can be passionate about your club without hating every other club. Because of my job, I've become friends with people like Roberto Di Matteo, John Gregory, some of the players. I've become friends with them, and they've been good to me. So when Blues play them, I want Blues to win.
Absolutely.
And if somebody said, one of my overriding moments is the Carling Cup quarter-final. Yeah. And, of course, the 1963 League Cup final, which I was at, which I wagged off school to get down and see them beat them.
Good bumps again.
Mike Ellerwell. But I don't... But I think hate's a dreadful word.
It is a dreadful word.
There's too much
hate.
It was asked
like I
know,
that,
but there's too much hate in the world anyway. Yeah. That doesn't mean... But I have to say, if I was sitting at home with nothing to do on a Saturday... I wouldn't go to Villa Park because it isn't what I do. But if Blues were playing in a non-league game at Kidderminster, I'd go there.
Right.
But I think if you spoke to Villa fans, they'd say exactly the same. So I have no issue. But John Gregory, and we have great banter. When you have a good relationship with opposition fans, you have great banter.
Me and Taylor's
Taylor's a massive Villa fan, and he's from Small East, by the way. Which something needs to be done about that. His pictures up at the Emerald Club. I can't believe it. But so I had that wonderful banter with John Gregory to this day. Don't call me Tom, Blue Nose. And I love it. I love that. And he says, for example, I'll tell you a little story. We when they played Chelsea in the most boring FA Cup final ever, Villa. You remember? 1990, 2000. Dreadful cup final. Yeah. And but I was covering that game, and I was walking across the Wembley concourse the day before, because that was a Sunday. The day before, Blues had been beaten 4-0. It might have been Oxford, but they'd been beaten 4-0. And I'm walking across the concourse, and the phone goes. It's John Gregory, and he goes, "Rossi, I've got all the lads are in. I hear Southgate shouting things and all the lads shouting things. They said, can you play them a record on BRMB for the lads before?" I said, "Of course we will." He said, "We'd like anything by UB 4-0. And that was the banter, and I loved it. I love that because I've give plenty out, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
I've give plenty out. But I love all that. So when you say hate, no.
Yes, no, all right, okay, that point is taken. What's it like commentating on the Villa and having to be professional about it?
Professional. I'm professional.
That's it.
I'm professional. But I'm professional. But when you're watching a game, and whether I'm watching West Brom or anybody... I'm watching the game and my head's on professional mode, and you do what you do. Nothing. And I have, some of the Blues fans have said to me, "Listen, you sound like a Villa fan." you know, and okay, I take that as a compliment professionally.
Right, okay.
My mum hasn't spoken to me since, but no, but that's the way it is. But when it comes to blues, raw emotion takes over, and it does take over. Takes over my whole everything about it. You know, it's just
exactly
it's just I can't explain it. And people say, "Well, talk us through like the goal at the Millennium." Now there's the banter I'm talking. Yeah. There's the banter I'm talking about. I was at Blues the other night for Cardiff, and in the press room, as ex-Blue Nose Andy Legg, remember the long throw? Andy Legg, he was doing it for BBC Wales. Doing it for BBC Wales in Welsh was Ewan Roberts. He's a great pal of mine, Ewan.
He scored in that final.
Yeah. So I go every time I see him there, I go, Ewan, come here. Let's have a chat about the Millennium and the playoff, and he gets ratty with me. But we have that banter because it was brilliant. But that moment when Darren Carter scored is just awesome.
I watch those videos regularly. I
know.
I have YouTube nights, and sometimes, you know, you've just got to do it. Now, my other half's a Stoke-ish kind of fan. Right? I take her to the Blues, and when they sing Stand Up...
Do you want a good lawyer? I know a good lawyer.
She's first up. She's first. I don't need the lawyer. I'm not married. It's all right. She's first out the chair. Now, she came away to Huddersfield with us, and we all get on very well.
Yeah. Great fun, yeah.
She had the dirty audacity to play Delilah in my living room the other day. I made her sit down and watch the 7-0 thrashing wig of them. I made her sit down. I said, I
was in the press box
7-0.
that day, 7-0 and Trevor Francis. I was on the press. Didn't the lad, the Irish kid up front, scored hat-trick? Did he? John McCarthy got 2.
John McCarthy scored, yeah.
Furlong.
Yeah, the lad from Chelsea, yeah, Furlong.
But I remember... They went mad. They tried to get at their directors. They were climbing over the press box to get to the directors.
There was a line of horses in front of us at the end of the game.
Amazing. But you were just talking there about... what are you going back to? Because I just had that story. Oh, the story about... it's just going to have me...
Should have written it down, Bob.
I know, to be fair. You were talking about... what are you talking about? Delilah,
Stoke. Huddersfield away.
Huddersfield, can't remember. Anyway, it'll come back to me.
We'll carry on. That's what we do.
Because the story's in the book, though. Yeah. That I'm not supposed to mention.
What's the best game you've ever been to?
Oh, this is a great question. When I was a lot younger, I went with my dad to see Blues play Spurs in the FA Cup. And we were 3 down, and we pulled it back to 3-3.
Was this Roger Hines scored?
No, it was before then.
Before then.
They had Jimmy Greaves had scored and stuff, and they were the cup winning, the double winning team, by the way, right? So I think it was 62-63.
Well, they always win it with a year ending in 1, don't they?
We had Jimmy. I think we had Jimmy Harris up front and Ken Leake playing. And after when we were 3-3, because there was no tannoy then, the pitch was invaded by the fans when they equalised. And there was a big blackboard walked around the pitch saying, the referee says if you come on the pitch again, he'll call the game off. That's how they did it. And Blues scored what looked like the winner, Ken Leake, a great goal. It was ruled offside, and it was never offside. My dying day, it was never offside. It would have been the greatest fight back in the history of the game. As it was, the referee disallowed it, and on the Wednesday night, my dad took me down on the train from Moore Street to, I think it was Moore Street, or New Street, one of the two, to Spurs for the replay. And we were beaten 4-2, and Harry scored again. Jimmy Harris, and I think Ken Leake scored then. But that was an amazing game for a young lad. Seeing us play Barcelona in the Fairs Cup when we watered the pitch, anything to stop them Spaniards playing to their true football. Seeing a guy who became a really good friend, Bertie Auld, take out players and fight men about 3 feet taller than himself. There are all sorts of things. But games, I think that one, the Carling Cup final, the Millennium, the semi-final against West Ham.
Yeah, that was incredible.
The one, when we got to
Ipswich.
Millwall away to get to the final.
Yes.
To get to the final.
Ipswich to get to the final.
Ipswich to get to the final, which we were robbed.
I took a lad to that game, and he was profoundly deaf. And he said it's the only time he ever heard anything in his life, and all he could hear was a squeal in his ear.
For atmosphere, that game.
That was.
Exactly, you're off again. I remember though that because Granger scored the far post, didn't he? A header against Ipswich,
yes.
Yeah.
And I was convinced it was a golden goal as well, so I was like jumping over the top of everybody, and it kicked off again.
I remember that cup final, the Worthington Cup final, And I was absolutely gutted because David Ellery robbed Birmingham City of a cup that day. And I'll never.
That's an awful lot for a broadcaster to stand up and say as well.
He robbed them.
He robbed us.
He robbed them. And every time, because I'm lucky, Mark Halsey, Howard Webb, and people like that are all good friends of mine now. And Alan Wiley, who's now coaching the referees, Birmingham fan to be fair, Alan. And every time I see him, I say, David Ellery robbed Blues. And you know what? None of them professional referees disagree with me.
No, not at all.
But it matters not.
One of the favourite games that I never went to. I can't remember who was playing at the time, but I was on texting my son. He was listening on the radio, I think over in towards Derby, and I was listening on the radio at home in Uttoxeter. And Zigic got fouled really badly, and a player physically trod on Zigic, and you used the term, he's trod on him 14 times, one after the other. But he's trod on him. And when I told my Adam yesterday, I might be interviewing Tom. I was got a small chance. Might be. He says, "Remind him." He trod on him.
You know what he did? He trod on him.
It was brilliant. 14. We were counting it.
Listen, I played a lot of non-league stuff, and there's certain things because I like it. I don't think it's a man's game anymore, and I love the man's game. But there's some things that are a no-no. Over the top and treading on people and big nose. See, in ice hockey, you have a foul, but then you have a deliberate attempt to injure, which is punishable by more. Now, I think if they had it in football, a foul, but if you deliberately attempt to injure somebody, automatic red card. I think they're sent off too easy for Reds. But if you deliberately try to injure somebody, you should be sent off.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you injure him accidentally because it's a tough tackle, because you can get injured in a fair challenge. So those sort of, but I remember he did tread on him.
Do you remember? 16. Do you actually remember the game?
Tread on him. I remember.
14 times you said, and we were going 13. Is he going to do 14? Is he going to? Yes, he's done 14.
Well, it's amazing how things like that stick. Because I used to have a caller from Albion.
I think you were working for BRMB at the time.
Yeah, Lee, BRMB, Capital Golf Free, all the same, just different name. Lee the Baggy. I remember people used to get in the car. Jasper Carey used to get in the car with his pals after the game and wait for Lee to come on, and then have a bet. They all used to put a quid in and have a bet to see how many times he'd say Tom. All right, Tom, Baggy's Tom, Tom. They have a bet to see how many times he said it. But it's callers that make what it is. Absolutely. I don't care. Sometimes radio presenters get carried away with their own importance. The biggest stars are the listeners who call in. They're the real stars, mate. And I love it.
The fact that you remember Lee, that sticks in the mind. Because
do you remember Ashok?
Ashok, yes.
The Villa fan?
Yes, absolutely.
He was an English guy, pretending to be Indian, which I suppose would be frowned upon these days. But he used to take the mick out of Blues, and we were going to sign Clive Mendonca at one time, I think you might remember, and he called him Clive Mendonca and all this. He was a young lad, and he died at 36 or 7, had a heart attack at 30, and I went to his funeral. But we used to have Acker, used to ring Tony Butler, then rang me Acker. Great caller. Would never call Birmingham, Smallheath. Yeah. Smallheath would never call them.
But we're only allowed to use the acronym B6 in here.
Yeah, B6. That's exactly. Yeah, B6.
We don't use the word. It's not done, is it?
And Acker moved out to Spain. He sold his business and went to Spain. He was a businessman. He went to Spain, and he sent me. He's dead now, sadly, but he sent me from Spain a big envelope and 2 pictures in. And there's one of him standing right on the rocks by a beautiful picture of the sea with his thumbs up. He said, "That's for the Villa fans." And the next picture was him mooning, saying, "Pass this on to Blue Noses." But I love that banter. I'm sorry, I love that banter. I don't like fighting. I don't like lunatics ruining it and giving the club a bad name.
Well, that brings me on to something, Tom, quite aptly, to be perfectly honest with you. And that's something.
Quickly go to Shadams that somebody's asked about. Ronnie Shed, he has joined, hasn't he?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, okay.
Yes, that's absolutely. If Tom says yes, then it's yes.
Yeah, it's done.
Mind you, I did say yes about Charlie and Zogby at one time, and I got hammered. That was the most difficult time for being a Blues fan, and it really upset me because Alex McLeish called me and said, "I've done the deal." He signed. So I said, "Can I use it?" He went, "Of course you can." He said, "He's coming in the morning, pen to paper, but it's done. Go with it." So I put that out. As you would.
Yes.
Yeah, of course you would. Yeah.
Credible source and all that.
Not much is the manager.
Unless, of course, it was one of your mates putting a Scottish accent on.
It was Alex. And overnight, Zogby decided he wanted more money. The agent rang Alex. or the club or whoever he speaks to, and was told no. So I'd done it, and yet the deal had fallen apart. But I was absolutely, by Blues fans, abused personally and every other way, and that upset me because it's my own, as far as I'm a blue nose, and it upset me greatly. I was only passing on, and this is what I was saying to you at the start. You do things in good faith, you know, and that's all you can do.
We got caught out one night, didn't we, Chris, with an issue over a very beautiful lady who sent you a message saying that she loves you very much, and thanks for everything you did for her not so long ago. That's the lovely Carol Butcher.
Oh, the wonderful Carol, the scarf lady.
Yeah. And we were actually live on air on that night when that awful rumour went out about her.
That she'd passed away.
Yeah, and I put it out live, and I just, it swiped chunks off me, but I'll be honest with you.
It does hurt, doesn't it? And you know, and this is, listen, I am so big on social media. For somebody of my age, I'm really embraced it. I've got 90,000 followers. It's a massive audience, but I'm afraid a few Looney Tunes spoil it. Yeah. At one time, it needed, you know, cowards became brave men with whiskey. Yeah. Now they become brave men, cowards with a keyboard.
Whiskey or gin, I'm not pussy.
And it upsets me. I can't believe I've been on that today. And I'm seeing Blues fans moaning at each other about which block's louder. Get on with them. Get on with watching the game and helping each other.
That kind of brought me into what I was going to say about something called the Tilton Alliance, which obviously
I gave them a couple of things to.
Yes, yeah. Now I sat in block 8, right behind the goal, and I told them today. I wrote onto their wall. I was going to have a word about this today. Now I sat in block 8, right behind the goal. And I looked to my right and saw a beautiful sight. Hundreds of Blues fans bringing the away day feel-good factor to the Tilton Road, proudly standing there and giving their all for a wonderful cause. In all honesty, guys, I struggled to hear you, but I don't doubt for one second your resolve and your efforts. I'm not out to knock you, because I think what you've put together in a very short period of time with the help of social media is little short of incredible.
Brilliant.
You see, it's not like the 80s anymore, not a group of like-minded people. A group of like-minded people have gathered together not to invade the pitch or to throw missiles, but to get behind what each and every one of them firmly believe in. My only wish is that you'd chosen a block higher so that the sound would resonate off the roof and your voices would be heard a lot more. I'm sick and tired of reading negative comments about one group or another. For Christ's sake, we all turn up hopefully to see the Blues play well and win. Anybody who is in this group or that group and wants to knock down the efforts of another group or individual, then I have this message for you. Go away and shut up unless you are prepared to do your bit. I did everything I could back in my day with my hair on every Saturday at the back of the cop. Now it's time for the Tilton Alliance to rise up and do your bit. Keep doing what you're doing, but try, from my own personal point of view, to get the group spread higher, as this is where the noise will be heard more around the ground. I applaud each and every one of you, and even though I'm not an active part of the group, I think it's fantastic. Keep it on, keep it up, and keep right on.
Excellent. But that sums it up for me, that if it's collective getting behind the team, it's actually counterproductive for blocks to be trying to listen to each other and moan about who's the loudest. For God's sake.
I was drinking with the lads before the game.
Just get on with supporting the team. I don't get it. And if somebody has an initiative that helps the atmosphere, good luck to them. Well done to them.
And it has taken off quite well. I mean, that block, you know, it's a second game in, you know, and does it really matter? Is anybody looking at it? Is anybody thinking, I can't be arsed with it?
No, neither can I, to be fair.
It makes me angry, Mr. Brown. It makes me very angry.
There's no, you know, last time I checked, there was no FA award for being the loudest block.
No.
You know, some people don't like. You know, the only thing that upsets me is when people say, "Oh, I can't stand people shouting next to me." You're at a football match, and it's going to be a bit of noise. You know, that's the way it is. But there are some people prefer the more sedate area. Fine.
Well, normally I have more dulcet tones on them. Well, certainly through the close season, but it's a little bit raspy after Saturday. I don't care.
So let them. Well, that's the difference when I can't do that, and you know, I can't all I can do is share.
How do you hold back, though, Tom? How do you hold back?
When we won the Carling Cup, I just looked round at Colin Tatham and we shared that little moment looking at each other. Yeah. Sounds very romantic, but it wasn't. You know what I'm trying to say? We looked at each other and because he's travelled with me for 20 years to games before he became head of media at Blues, and we looked at each other and it was a special moment, you know, when the goal went in, when Obafemi Martin scored, as a Blues fan, the first thing I thought is, the referee's going to disallow it. Secondly, they'll score an equaliser and get the winner. You do. But when the final whistle went, I just couldn't tell you. I can't tell you that feeling, that amazing feeling, and then getting to go to Bruges and those sort of places.
You commentated on that game, didn't
all
you?
Of them.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them.
I think the West Ham one was brilliant. The sound of bubbles popping all over the East End of London.
They haven't forgiven me for
Absolutely
that.
Brilliant. But what an analogy. How to sum it up, though, because they had done a fair bit of cheating, hadn't they, on the way?
Did I use the word cheating?
Yeah.
I don't remember I used it.
We've got
No, not cheating, Cockneys. No, chirpy.
Chirpy. I'll have another listen. I do have a little, deaf issue, so it might have been me that got it wrong.
Nick, we've got a ton of questions to get through.
I'm sorry. Do
you want me to?
Yeah, carry on.
We've got some on Facebook. We've got some on our page as well. We'll start off with Tom. Can you tell the listeners the story about you and Ian Taylor doing the draw for the darts? You don't have to.
No,
I don't know what.
No, because not now, but we've always done the draw for the World Masters. Dave Allen of PDC comes in with the Sky commentator, and we do the official draw for which pots and who's going to play what night and all the rest of it. And we got the bag with the balls in, and Ian Taylor pulls them out. We read them out, and I just remember saying, "Ian, have you got your black balls?" And he said, "I take them everywhere." And Dave from the PDC broke up. I corpsed. I didn't know what to say, and that was it. I mean, it was a funny moment. It was one of those really funny moments, and that's what I mean about Ian Taylor. He's brilliant at that. So we had quite a good laugh at that. But he was, what he did, it even now tickles me. And I don't corpse often on air, but that was one time with Ian Taylor. Brilliant.
Tom, how good was that night at Blues' 140th anniversary when Barry Fry, Jono and Dacey were on stage talking about that night in the Anglo-Italian Cup?
Yes, there's a few Ancona veterans about, but it's quite strange really, because I remember Barry Fry now. If you get Barry Fry talking about it, he goes, "Oh, they did that, and Dacey led the charge, and we did this and we did that." And then I said, "Barry, on the night when I said to you, can you talk about what's happened? You said you hadn't seen anything." And yet now he earns a living after dinner talking about this wonderful stuff. But it was a great moment. It was a great night, that 140th, to celebrate the 140th with players and Alex's last public appearance with the club as well, by the way. And he again sang "Keep Right On." But to have all those eras and those players, I just thought it was a wonderful night to have that. And Barry is wonderful. You just like Barry, like the blue touch baby. He's like a fizz bomb. He's gone, and he Baz. And I got married last June for the 4th time, and he came to the wedding, Baz. He was brilliant. He was absolutely amazing. He's such a funny man, but his wife is beautiful and sedate.
If you do see him again, do ask him to get in touch with us.
We'd love to have him in here.
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be great. You wouldn't have 90 minutes wouldn't be long enough.
No.
It wouldn't be. I tell you, mate. Mate.
2 stories.
Geezer.
And the stories. I mean, I remember, but he couldn't get things right. I remember I'd say to him, he used to come up at 2:00 and give me the exclusive team news live. It was brilliant for me. And he'd come up and he'd go, "Right, what's this in goal? Thingy. Him over there, he's in goal. Grimbold, him. You mean Bart Grimmick? Yeah, him, he's in goal." That's how he was like. And he'd go through the team like that. And he said, "I've got another player." He said, "I've just bought him." He says, he's a good player, he's another clog in my wheel. And this is how he used to be. But he was brilliant. I went to Portsmouth, and he came up at 2:00 to the team news, and I went. He went through the team, and I went, "No, Liam Dyson, is he injured?" He went, "No, he's gone home." I went, "Gone home?" He went, "Yeah, he's gone home." I said, "Why?" He went, "He won't be sub, so I told him to go home." And Dacey wouldn't be sub, and he told me to go home. And I didn't know what to say, because there's I've walked into a really good story. Dacey wouldn't be sub, so he told me to go home. So Dacey made his own way home. Brilliant stories, and Baz was like that. Baz was brilliant.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Although you had to be careful with the language.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. We'll just have this last one off on the website, which is how good was that Keep Right On Saturday in tribute to the great Alex Govan?
Well, we've talked about that. The hairs on the back of my neck,
even there thinking about it,
and the goosebumps, and that will live with me. When you're a fan, them are the things that live with you, aren't they? Them things. And I always think being part of a football club, and this is what Birmingham City's done for me, is a feeling of belonging. I feel like I belong with, you know what I mean? A belonging to something. Maybe because I'm from a very humble and poor background, that feeling of belonging is important to me. I've latched on to something special and something important. And all my mates at school, remember, were Villa. All my mates were Villa. But, there's no way was I not going to be Well, I didn't have a choice. It was my dad. I didn't really have a choice in it, if I'm honest. And I don't see why you should. He taught me to sing Keep Right On.
My kids could sing it before they could say more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He taught me to sing it. But the thing is, my dad, he never told me how tired and weary I'd get. And he never told me how long that bloody road was.
It's still going.
It's still going.
They're still building it.
You said about that, about the hairstand. I mean, I'm 27. I remember the Worthington Cup final against Liverpool, and we lost. You know, and you look at football nowadays, and a team loses a final when we beat Arsenal, and there was about 12 Arsenal fans left as we lifted the trophy.
That was disgraceful.
I remember we lost against Liverpool on penalties,
Singing.
and we that Keep Right On was the loudest Keep Right On I think I've ever heard.
Just before the game as well, where you've got Keep Right On, you've got the cop as well singing as well. Like, whoa!
Do you remember? Whoa! I mean, I was just trying to remember the Carling Cup final.
Loudest fans still ever at Wembley. We are.
But for me. And I know this sounds crazy, and you mentioned the great games, and I left out a massive game. It was going back to Wembley for the first time.
Yeah.
The Leyland Daff.
The Daff Cup final.
Yes.
I loved it. But I actually did the commentary stuff from the bench.
Yeah.
I sat next to Robert Hopkins. I sat next to... First, Gary Newbon says he was the first. I was the first. I sat next to Robert Hopkins doing the stuff. And I went down to Reading University and stayed with the team. Lou Macari, I got on great with Lou, he let me and Colin Tatham, we stayed with the team at Reading University. And I'll tell you the story, it was great, because we went to Reading University and then we gone training, on the coach to go training. I said to Lou, because I sat with Lou at the front, with Chick Bates. Remember Chick? He was his assistant.
Yeah.
Said, Lou, where we're training? He went, well, we'll find somewhere. We'll find a field. This is a big club. That'll do. Found a field, climbed over the edge and trained. This is preparation for Wembley. Next day, where we go, which was the day before the final, where are we going, Lou? Today. We'll find somewhere. Found a running track with a green in the middle, locked up. Must have been holidays or something. So, okay. We got over, all the players, and then Lou went to the players. He says, God's honest truth, it's in the book. He went, lads, Tom's taking the training today. Me. To which big John Gale and Nigel Glegor went, well, we ain't training. If he's doing it, you're taking the mick. So I said, well, if you're not training, you'll do 20 press-ups. So I forced big John Gale and Nigel Glegor to do 20 press-ups. And so I take the credit for winning the Leyland Cup. I take the, because that extra time, I give him a bit of extra. But the reality is, you know what Lou was doing? Lou was clever, being ex-Man U. He knew they'd be nervous about Wembley. So he lightened everything up by letting me do the training, and he'd done all the hard work. He'd done all the hard work, so he let me lighten the atmosphere and relax the players, which I thought was really clever now, on reflection. We got on the bus, and this is, you talk about Keep Right On, we got on the bus to go to Wembley, and remember I got my tracksuit on, I got my bucket, because I was assistant physio on the list, and I got my headphones in the bucket. And we're on the bus, and we're going down, and it was the last...
Facebook then.
That was the last time you could drive up Wembley Way. It was the last time. The coach went up Wembley Way, went in. And as we could have gone wrong way round, keep left signs, police escort, you see. So we've got down to turned into Wembley Way. It was the most, and I was live on BRMB at the time on the phone. It was the most amazing sound I've ever heard. You turn up, a sea of blue and white.
It was everywhere, wasn't it?
Yeah. Blue and white. And I've put a picture in the book of that moment when you turn up and see all these blue and white. I can't tell you, and all singing, it got to me. And then it's quite funny because they've won it. It's probably Leyland Daff, for God's sake, but it don't make any difference. I'm at Wembley with Blues and we won it. And so I don't know what happened. I got carried away. I'm doing a lap of honour with the cup with the players. And Big Ron, it was on Sky if you remember, and Big Ron was the commentator.
Yeah.
And Big Ron went...
Who else commentated it?
I can't remember.
Andy somebody, I think.
Yeah. But Big Ron went, hang on, that's Roscoe, he never played for Blues, and I'm walking around with the cup. It's quite funny. But that was the thing, you got carried away with.
Well, our average gates back then was 7,000, and we managed to take 40. Was it
47? No, 47. They only took about 13,000.
47,000.
Was amazing. I think it's still, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's still the biggest individual club game to Wembley.
I believe it is.
Because in the FA Cup you can't, can you?
No, it's...
So you can only get so many tickets. So then...
What a journey that was, there and back.
Well, even that, Brentford in the semi, when little Studger...
I was actually at the Brentford game. It cost me £92 for the ticket.
Well, did it?
Yeah.
Well, Lou Macari and the lads... I got me what I call a Ewer, which is I record everything on a mobile phone now, but that was a big tape recorder, Yeah. And I've gone in afterwards to interview the players. Lou Macari and the players threw me in the big bath. So I've driven back to Birmingham in a pair of shorts they've given me from the kit bag, just going yes, because we're there. It was a flipping Leyland down.
Wembley, though.
The most iconic thing for me of that night was Sturridge scored, I believe.
Sturridge,
yeah. And then when that final whistle went, you haven't got a word. There isn't a word that you can say. And I was actually in the Brentford supporters end, and we'd had this ticket which was it cost £92, and there was all dinner and everything included.
Brilliant.
Couldn't eat a thing, didn't eat a thing, didn't touch a thing, not and I was going absolutely doolally, and there's an old gentleman in front of me, the seat down, and he looked round at me and he got his Brentford scarf on, and he must have been in his 80s, and he got tears running down his face, and he held me by the arm and he says, "Have a great day out, lad, won't you?" And I went, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Well, the beauty for me was being on the team bus going into Wembley. I went into the dressing room and I savoured all that. Which, remember, for a kid from Aston to have that, the kid from Aston to get in the Wembley dressing room.
Well, I felt like that just being at the Wembley Stadium.
I was amazed, man. I was amazed, and then walk up the touchline, sitting with the players, sitting next to Robert Hopkins, who didn't get on, so he's a grumpy what's it all done. But it was quite. I mean, it was quite funny, really, because, as you know, we had a big do on the night at the Hilton for the players and sponsors and all that sort of stuff. And I'll tell you the story. I was asked, they asked me, "Would you MC it?" Samish Kumar. I said, "Of course I will. No problem." So I'm into it, and I interview Samish and Ramesh Kumar. They come in. And then I go, "Please welcome the wives and girlfriends of our directors." And all you hear is a voice shout, "Strippers are here!" And he sounded remarkably like Ian Clarkson. I tell you, Samish went over to him and made it very clear that he weren't too happy about it. But at that day, it was just an amazing day. And funny enough, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember where the cup ended up. I think it ended up in one of the beds of the sponsors. I mean, I can't remember exactly now, but it was amazing. So when you look back at great, but I have this philosophy, that when I go to a game, whether it's the cup final or I'm going to see Blues against Kidderminster, whatever it is, since the Derby tram drivers played the Derby postman in the first ever game in 1800 and frozen to death, from that minute to this, there's never been 2 goals, 2 headers, 2 fouls, 2 free, same. So all this nonsense saying about same game as before. Same as last week. It's nonsense. It's every game is a unique sporting event. So why shouldn't I be absolutely thrilled at being a unique sporting event? Whoever's playing Walsall, I get carried away because it's a unique sporting event.
I must admit, I can only get carried away at Blues. I couldn't. I wouldn't have interest in going.
No, but what I'm saying is, it's being part of a unique sporting event. I go to see a game of football. It's never happened before, and it'll never happen again. And remember, and this is what gets to me sometimes when we hear a lot of talk, and I've done it, we've all done it, tactically we were naive, this was wrong, that was wrong. A game of football, whatever system you play, is about 11 people making the right decisions at the right time. And if they make that wrong decision, the game goes against you, make the right one. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. Yeah. So you can't legislate for that, can you? You can't have a tactic, you can't have a formula for that.
No.
When you're relying on individuals, all you do is get them organised in whatever system you choose, and then hope they make the right decisions. Better players make better decisions more often than lesser players, and that's what the game's about.
And you're just talking about Ian Clarkson not long ago. He's our next guest.
Yes, next week. Is he? Hopefully next week, yeah.
All the best. Speak slow.
Good stuff.
Tell him I just confirmed. He's a great lad, Clarky, as well. Captain Chaos.
5 years ago, Tom, when we started this, we had 4 listeners.
Yeah,
that's the absolute truth of it.
One of them was the cat.
Yeah, and your dog.
And a dog, yeah.
The cat's dead now, isn't it?
Yeah.
The dog. The cat attacked me, didn't it?
That's right. You got to attack the cat.
But it's brilliant. Listen. Radio's been my life. It's been my career. To see somebody doing something like this for a passion for what they think.
That's all it is.
For people who care about it. I think it's fantastic.
And we don't do it for our group or this group or that group.
You
we
do it for Blues
any
fans.
and every Birmingham. We have so many football supporters from other teams listening.
Do you really? That's great.
We really do.
That's really fantastic.
We really do. Yeah.
Well, that shows you're doing it right.
And we even go to Warrington occasionally, don't we?
In Warrington, yeah.
We even have a listener in Warrington.
We've got fans in people who listen to us in South Africa. Quite a lot of people in America listen to us on the podcast.
The guy who won the competition lives in New York.
He's recently sent us.
Well, remember now, because of the restrictions on radio, you're not allowed to put the game online.
No,
because you're not. We used to, but you're not allowed to.
Yeah.
You can't do it because the clubs want their own radio station to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And every time you talk about things these days, it's all about money in football.
Yeah.
It's all about how much money people can make. That's the sadness of the modern game.
Is that why the book's called The Game's Gone?
The game has gone, in my view. It's the game that you as a fan, and you as a fan, and me as a fan, we're the last people they care about. They don't give a monkeys about fans. They'll kick off when they like.
But they did. When Liverpool fans rose up about those costs, they listened. The club listened.
No. I'm not talking about the clubs. The club will not listen. Liverpool. If every single Liverpool fan, every one of them, 60,000 people, however many they get, stood outside the gates complaining about the kick-off times, Liverpool would say, hard luck, Sky pay us, that's the way it is. So I'm not on about the club. I'm on about the individual.
If 60,000 Liverpool fans boycott, they'll find 60,000 others who are willing to pay the money.
Because the problem is, the billions that come... The game has never been richer. Clubs have never been poorer.
Do you think the bubble's going to burst?
I don't know. Well, it don't look like it at the moment. There's 13.5 billion coming in at the moment. Overseas rights. Now, the biggest problem we got is with these overseas rights is eventually, I'm telling you now, there'll be a 39th game played abroad. And it'll be Man U, won't be any of the other. It'll be Man U and somebody like that. Because I promise you, all the nonsense about overseas rights, most Asian countries want to see Manchester United or Liverpool. They're not bothered about Arsenal, Man U, Man City or Chelsea. Those are the two big clubs. Liverpool, because of history. So those are the two. And this is where it's all out of kilter. The game has gone. The kick-off times, the distribution of money, the wealth, the financial fair play, which isn't fair at all. The financial fair play rule is just not fair at all.
Which is to some clubs.
To anybody. No, it benefits the bigger clubs. The whole transfer system of the transfer window, which is a nonsense, benefits the bigger clubs.
But they just get round it by selling the stadium or...
they stopped that, but they found a way around it.
Training kit deal for £200 million.
Their training ground, training ground is sponsored for 15 million quid. Man U's. But if you
and then people complain about the Pogba deal being worth nearly £100 million. It's relevant to their income. I think it's 20%. That fee alone is 20% of their total income. So it would be like Blues buying a player for £5 million. It's
however,
money is irrelevant.
However, tell me, this is where we might disagree here, but for me, how can you let a game suffer like it has, where every season, Hull have kicked off in the Premier League this season, not a cat in house chance of winning it, not a cat in house. Their only aim is to finish 17th.
You would have said that about Leicester 2 years ago.
But what's wrong? No, but that is a real one-off. That won't happen again.
He says that.
That won't happen again.
Won't happen again.
But, and I'm delighted it did. I was thrilled to bits. But
he wasn't.
But all around that sort of thing, they don't care about anything but money. For example, lots of clubs have Birmingham City or Aston Villa or Manchester United credit cards. It's got the badge on. Yeah. It's not a Manchester United credit card. It's a Visa or MBA. It's got a club badge on, so they prey on your affinity. When are they going to stop taking money? You can't keep taking and taking. You got 13.5 billion pounds that comes in. Tell me why a proportion of that shouldn't go to affordable prices first. The match day experience being better seats, better food, and grassroots football. Why have we got an academy system that is totally geared to the bigger clubs? Yeah. If you're in an Academy A status, right, Academy A, you can go into any other club and pick a player and take him and not pay a penny. pittance, 25 grand or something. Whereas before, who was the lad? Bale Walker came from Southampton, 10 million quid, all the rest of it 12 million. And that helps the smaller clubs survive. They've stopped that. So if Portsmouth get a really top player, if a small club gets a really great youngster that everybody wants, before they could earn a few million and it keeps them going. Now a big club walks in and says, "We'll have you. Come on, off you go," and that's it. You can't stop them. Tell me that's right.
And he'll never play for Chelsea or.
If I was given power, I would close every academy tomorrow, and the academy say, "Oh, players have come through." Them players, the talented players, would come through irrespective. They'd come through under the apprentice scheme, the YTS scheme, whatever. They would come through. So you're not stopping anybody.
We've always had academies.
But academies, you had YTS in there. But academies cost millions with coaches, with computers, and very few former players. Tell me why there's no ex-pros teaching people the game. Because players had come through the academies with all the talent and the dragbacks and the flicks, don't know the game. We saw that with Sterling, didn't we, in England? Don't understand, doesn't have that physicality. Young Callum Riley at Birmingham, he said the academy taught him a lot. He said, but it wasn't until I went in Kevin Broadhurst under 15s that I learned what there was another side to the game. And I think that's the issue. I think Villa, to be fair, get it pretty right. They have a college coach and a ex-player, I think, with each team. Tommy Mooney's there, as it happens, at Aston Villa. So for me, the academies have a lot more to do. It's a massive industry now, a cottage industry grown out of nowhere. And what are we seeing for it? Don't tell me better players.
Well, that could also bring you back onto the England scene and the St George's scenario.
I've been there a few times. A wonderful place.
I live up that way.
A wonderful place.
There's a lot of money being pumped into that.
And of course we were going to see all this, improvement and everything. And
do you remember Lilleshall?
Yes.
Yeah.
As a great example, Lilleshall was the place where all the elite went.
Is it Telford?
Yeah, that way, Shropshire way.
Yeah.
And there's a kid at West Brom, Neil Clement, was at West Brom, but he came from Chelsea. At Chelsea, he was one of the 11 elite youngsters that they picked to go to Lilleshall for special training. And he was an absolute nailed-on cert to play for England for a long time. Loads of talent. But because he sat on the bench at Chelsea all the time, he never developed that potential. And he came to West Brom late to earn a career in the game.
Right.
Now, I'm saying this is all right breeding youngsters. We've got to give them somewhere to play. We're getting on now to too many foreign players in the game. Sorry, there is.
I think Blues are doing pretty good on the youngster scene at the moment, certainly over the last couple of years anyway.
Name one. Go on, name them then.
Well, no, I meant, look, we're bringing them through, like with Dimmy Gray, and we've got young Storer now.
Storer didn't come through.
No.
Storer was got rid of by. Hang on, Storer was got rid of by the academy.
Right.
Went to Stevens.
That's right.
He was got rid of by the academy. Yeah. I think they might claim credit for him now, but they got rid of him, and then he came back as a first-year professional. And maybe he was just, I don't know. Listen, I don't know. I'm only surmising here, so make that clear. Yeah. This is not knowledge. This is me, in my mind, surmising. Maybe he was too aggressive for them, because he's a very aggressive youngster. And it looks to me like academies don't want aggression.
His grandmother?
I want it.
No, you don't run the academy.
No, but I say, when I see a player coming onto the pitch and doing what he did on Saturday, winding up, come on, get going, get going.
What was the game? Tell me the, what was the game? Because I was away on holiday, but there was a 21-man brawl.
Oh, so what was that?
Forest Green.
Port Vale.
What was that?
It was Storer who nailed the fullback that started it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I have it on good authority, right? I have it on good authority from somebody in the game who said that they knew one of the Port Vale players, and they've said, "What are you doing getting involved?" And he said, "That little young... He punched me when I was on the ground." Now, that to me is aggression that the academies would not instill in you.
And the game doesn't need, if that's the case.
No, but I'm not criticising it. I like the edge.
I like the edge.
And if you played
when they're down.
But well, if you played it, there's elbows flying and pushing and nudging and all sorts go on. I'm saying controlled. I like that controlled aggression. Too many academy youngsters come through with all the talent and skill, and no heart. No heart. No heart. You need desire in the game. Desire. And I'm afraid I'm not sure where in the academy curriculum that comes.
Interesting point.
It's only my view, by the way.
No, it's fine. It's all right.
If you don't like the answer, don't ask the question.
Tom, we haven't asked you if you wanted a drink.
I don't. I'm teetotal.
Well, this is non-alcoholic beer.
No, I don't drink even. So have you got
glass of water, drink, pop, or
pop something like that would do brilliant, pal. Thanks very much indeed.
Yeah.
Very friendly here.
We have popcorn.
But listen, at the end of the day,
Tom's point there about, I mean, Jack Storer is a good example. I think you look at. We mentioned the England setup. You look at Dele Alli. Mm-hmm. There's an edge to Dele Alli as well that I like about him. But it's the fact that people notice the players that have an edge, and I think that might be where Tom's got a point, because the fact that we're noticing players with an edge shows that it's not common in the game.
Who's got
anymore.
more ability than Sterling? Sterling's got great touch, great feel for the ball, great energy, athletic. Has he got a heart? I ain't so sure. Didn't show for England.
No, he certainly didn't.
Do you see what I'm coming from?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying, for me, and remember when we started, I said the book was showing youngsters that even if you haven't got whatever university qualification, you can be anything you want. And I think, as a player, and I was lucky enough to play in decent standard, as a player, I was never the best. But my managers always picked me, because you could rely on me. I'd kick anybody and anything to be where I wanted to be, and that's what I mean. I don't mean injure them deliberately, but you know what I mean. Let them know I'm there. Be firm, be tough. I don't see that in some academies. I don't see it. I just don't see it. And yet I remember the era when Noel Blake came through, and at Villa, and Robert Hopkins came through at Villa, and these. Do you know what I'm saying? I look at these players and I'm thinking they had that edge because they wanted to get in the first team. Now you can be rich without getting into the flipping first team virtually. In some clubs, you can be earning 15, 20 grand as an talented academy youngster, and your dad can be looked after and all the rest of it. And I think there's something in Germany. I was reading Bayern Munich. They've got a great academy, brings some great players through. None of their kids get any more than 200 quid a week.
All right.
No. Because is it Rummenigge?
Yeah,
he said. The shirt's enough. We want them to be hungry. How can you be hungry on 15 grand a week, not in the first team?
Yeah.
Can I just
we get no, and we still turn up every week.
The gap between us and them has grown.
What's that?
Between players and us has grown. Has grown, and is growing. And I remember years ago, Mark Bosnich, Aston Villa goalkeeper, said to me, "It's not a working man's game anymore. We earn that much money, we're adrift," and that was then. Now it's even more. How can Wayne Rooney have anything in common with us when he earns 320 grand a week?
How can Wayne Rooney earn 320 grand a week?
Listen, if I'm offered it in radio, I'm taking it. So I'm not blaming him.
You can't blame the player.
I'm not blaming him.
Of course, you're never ever going to turn it down.
Of course not. But it's an obscene amount of money. It's obscene.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Can I just say, this is a great point here from Blue Arbor. He says, due to sponsorship, every club in the Premiership can let their supporters Premier League can let their supporters in free all season long and still make a profit.
Don't have to. You don't need
the game's gone.
You don't need this. There you go.
Said Blue Arbor.
Amazon and all good bookshops.
Yes.
You actually don't need Gate anymore. But why are prices
so high?
Why when again Aston Villa went to Sheffield Wednesday, £42? It's scandalous. It's
criminal.
That's absolutely scandalous.
I refused to go. Was it last Boxing Day we played them?
How many Villa fans went?
They paid it.
4,000.
Of course.
They paid it.
If they know that the fans are going to pay
but the fact that they paid it shouldn't mean you should rip them off.
No, of course. But as you say,
nobody cares.
The football fans are the lowest of the low.
At one time,
as far as the clubs are concerned.
At one time, and I'm a lot older than you, as you can tell. But it always used to be about.
Put yourself down.
It used to be about glory.
Yeah.
It used to be about glory. Now it's about how much. Now it's about how much you can earn, how much money you can get. And I remember David Sullivan. He was the worst at it. David. He used to go, if we get relegated, it cost us 60 million or whatever. If we get promoted, we'll earn 60 million. It was always not about, we're going to be in...
If we get relegated, that's it.
Or we're in the Premier League. It was about, if you win the Carling Cup, Danny, means 2 million quid. You know what I'm saying? That sort of stuff. And I've just been on... I was listening to another station on the way in, and they were talking about... they had a bookmaker on. He was talking about the EFL Cup, as it's called now, the Capital One Cup, Carling Cup, whatever you want to call it. And he was like, well, who cares really about it? That was his attitude. Who really cares about it? The big clubs don't care. And I'm thinking, hang on, that's one of our big trophies. How long before the FA Cup doesn't care? And the only thing that matters is the Champions League.
The day the FA Cup didn't care was the day that Manchester United pulled out.
But the Champions League, only for firstly, somebody should have the you-know-what to take the Trades Descriptions Act and sue them, because not all champions go in it. The top 4 teams go in it, not champions. And so now, Arsenal will be happy to finish 4th. In the Champions League. And you get plenty of money. Yeah. And now they want, that was it. Champions League now, they're talking about making that, playing those games in the early stages abroad. So if somebody from Reykjavik plays Barcelona, they'll take the game to China.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. More money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't matter about the fans. Don't matter about how the fans can get there. Doesn't matter about having a game at Newcastle on a Friday night away, because the fans are going to have trouble getting there. Don't matter. We don't care. As long as Sky and all the others are happy.
Yeah.
We can beam it back.
But who cares?
But they know that they can. You know, I mean, the Newcastle one's a great example. Travelling to Fulham, asking Newcastle fans to travel to Fulham on a Friday night,
nonsense,
for the first game of the season. But they know Newcastle fans will go anywhere at any time. So
they did,
and they took 7,000.
Yeah.
So,
you know the man, Greg Dyke, who was chairman of the FA. Is he still? Has he gone now?
He's still there.
He's still there. He's the man to blame, because going way before the Premier League, just before the Premier League, he started it in London with London Weekend, LTV. And he had them. He wanted Manchester United, Spurs, Arsenal, all the big clubs to do the deal with him for live exclusive commentary, and it mushroomed from there. Then Sky and everything else. These are the people that don't care about the game. So when he comes on now, and now is it what is it the EFL? We've got B teams now, haven't we? Is it somebody?
The
Johnson's Paint. It's the trophy, their trophy.
Yeah.
The old Leyland Daff.
Yeah.
They've now got B teams in it of the big clubs.
That's crazy.
Now, and we've been there, haven't we, when the Leyland Daff?
Yeah.
That was where you thought. And now, if you're a Walsall fan, you think we could win that.
Yeah.
Not now.
Not now. You've got to
Not
play
now.
Chelsea reserve.
So all of a sudden now, it's only the big clubs. They're looking after them. Tell me that's right.
Yeah, it's wrong. It's completely and utterly wrong.
And that's that muppet agreeing to that.
Yeah.
I'll get angry. And I know Greg because he's a massive Springsteen fan like myself, and we've been at various gigs together, invited by record companies and
wasn't born in the USA, was he?
No. but my point is, somebody's got to think about the fans. Put the fans first, for God's sake.
Do you think it'll ever happen?
No.
I'm trying to think in that setup, who is going to benefit from that?
Chelsea.
No, the big
But
clubs.
they're not, though, are they?
No, it means their youngsters get. They're under 21 teams.
What it means is that they don't have to send them out on loan.
Yeah.
Because they can keep them in their academies then, because they've got a valid excuse and say,
and competitive games.
We don't need to send you out on loan. We'll keep you here because we can play you in the that's another thing as well.
So if they win
it's actually called the Checker Trade Trophy, because checkertrade.com have decided to buy the rights for it.
Yeah.
So we've got a random business deciding to.
So if
the game's gone.
If that happens now, the whole thing's driving me crackers. I think it was 20 odd years ago. I remember writing in the Argus column I did then, saying that the game was in mortal danger from Sky TV. Now, don't get me wrong, the coverage is fantastic, but the game itself was in mortal danger. And now look at us, games every night of the week, anytime they want to kick off. And how long before they'll make a midnight kick-off to please the audience in China?
That might be fun, that'll be long. Won't half.
Yeah,
does my brains in. And that's why I said the game's gone. The refereeing, I get angry about the people who run the referees. They've changed laws. Why? I've no idea. They've changed laws from simplistic laws, like the offside, everybody understood it. I got referees, top-class referees saying to me, I don't think we understand it fully.
It is difficult.
Telling you.
It is difficult.
Because, so why not? If you're offside, you're offside. If you're not, you're not. We got by with that, didn't we?
Yeah.
But no, we've got UEFA, FIFA, and what a corrupt organisation that is, from the top downwards. You know, these people are running the game. These people are making decisions that affect you and me and every other football fan. It can't be right. I'm sorry, it can't be right. Not once do they take into account how you feel and what your needs are, as long as their coffers are full.
Incredibly brave of you to say that as a broadcaster.
It's a fact of life.
Yeah.
Listen, you
Your
got to
dad taught you a good lesson, kid, didn't he?
Yeah, live your life by my standards, not anybody else's. But that doesn't mean, and some people, I've had plenty of criticism before about not saying things. One thing I won't do is join a horde. I've never been a follower. If I have to stand on my own and say what I believe, I'll do it. I might be wrong. Might end up being wrong, but it's my belief and it's what I'm going to stand. And I ain't going to follow a group or any other group or any bunch of people just to be part of the clan. I ain't going to do it.
Nice one. Okay,
I think I took that mantle last season at times.
Moving on to Super 6. We've got our own Super 6 league going. We'll move right on from there and say no more about it. I had an injury. Right, Tom, the year before I came 2000th in the world in
we have
Super
this
6.
story every
now,
year.
I just can't replicate it. So I think I must have picked up an injury last year.
2000th in the world?
Yeah.
I'd be ashamed.
Why?
2000th.
Yeah.
The Americans have a saying, when you're second, you're a first place loser.
I was a 2000th place loser, but it was good to see.
Be a winner. Be a winner. Always want to win it.
Oh, I do want to win it. That's why I'm so desperately upset about the situation.
I've been told to mention the coffin as well.
Did you see the coffin that we did?
Yeah, I saw that.
How funny was that? I've had death threats and all sorts over it. Just
comment.
hilarious. Why couldn't you comment? You've commented on everything else. Come on,
my missus loved having it in the house
it was for 3 weeks. It was stood up there for weeks.
To be fair, listen. At the end of the day, it's there's no. It would be exactly the same the other way.
Yeah.
We did it
exactly the same.
We did it for fun.
It's banter.
Tom,
I'm happy with banter. I don't like it.
It was the look on that copper's face when I said to him outside the bus. I said, look, we don't throw bricks or bottles. I said, but we are going to get an Aston Villa coffin out the hold of that bus and parade up down the street. He says, are you for real? Yep, watch this.
Tom, we had donations from Villa fans, lots of Villa fans who donated to the charity that we were trying to raise money.
And that's
fantastic.
Listen,
great.
Anything we can do to help a charity is great.
Oh, yeah,
and that's why all the proceeds from my book go to help Harry help others. Not proceeds, profits. Any profit goes to help Harry help others.
Superb. But yeah, we raised £301 for it. The lads from Worcester came and picked it up live on air. And it was just funny. I mean, 5.5 million internets in hits in 4 days.
Some Fox News.
Fox News.
Did it make Fox News?
We made Fox News all across
News
America.
as well.
The woman on Fox News told us to grow up and put the coffin away. Number one, she don't understand football, and number two, she doesn't understand the closeness of these two teams on the rivalry.
Remember the Americans, they like a World Series where only they're in it.
Yeah, that's right. That was funny.
But the coffin, people stop me in the street and still talk to me about the coffin. It's brilliant. Love it.
Listen, banter's great. Banter's great, pal. It's like when I...
And that's why
I took over. It's like when I was appointed manager of Birmingham by David Sullivan.
Yeah.
BRMB, April Fool Day. And... people had a meeting and they said, what about you? Can let's make you manager of Birmingham? This is what reaction we get. So I knew David Sullivan well and Barry Fry, and so I interviewed David Sullivan, who said, well, we had to get rid of Barry because he's hopeless, and we thought the only man to do the job was Tom, big blue nose. And we got Barry Fry going, I'm gutted, mate, but at least Tom's the right man for the job. And they put that out in the news bulletins in the morning.
Could you imagine it on social media now?
It was meltdown. It was meltdown. There was those faxes. You remember a fax, would you? Fax. Just about. The fax machine was thrown over. People were turning up at the reception. The reception phone lines were on meltdown. People, most of them going, "Are you sure? There's a lunatic. That can't happen." And the club were inundated as well. It was the best April Fool joke ever. But it was amazing. Most, but I don't know how people fall for it, but they did.
Because it's football and it's passion.
To be fair, when I didn't get the job, I sued David Sullivan. But I mean, I've got a chapter in the book called "Facing Off," and it's about where I've had to face up to people. Mm-hmm. People, some fans, because I don't always agree with them, say, "Oh, you're soft. You don't ask the right things." But I had a massive fallout with David Sullivan, mega.
Yes, I heard it.
Over Trevor Francis. It was over Trevor Francis. I had a massive fallout with David Sullivan. We were all right afterwards, and I see him now when I've been at West Ham and he's okay, but it was a massive fallout because I thought he was wrong, and I told him. and he tore me to bits in his Sunday Sport newspaper. Me amongst all those boobs.
I'm surprised you and Elvis weren't found on the moon.
But that was the thing, and I had but even David Gold and Karen Brady heard the tapes and said, "Tom, you've done nothing wrong." But he was just having one of them days. I had to face up to Nicky Butt after he refused to be on the bench at West Ham, and I faced him up. It's all about it in the book. Robbie Savage is a great pal of mine now.
What's he done to his hair?
I know.
My God.
I told when Steve Bruce said he was signing him, I said to Steve Bruce, he's he'll get you the sack. And when he signed him, I can't be two-faced. I can't go and interview him without telling him. So I said to Steve, listen, you're going to have to tell him that I've got to meet him. So he took me into his office and I told him again to his face. And Sav was great. Sav went, I've heard worse, I'll prove you wrong. And that was brilliant. And he's become a good pal. And after Waterstones, in September, we're doing a thing at Boa, the Theatre and Drama College. They've got a theatre. And we're doing a book signing and a book Q&A with me and Sav.
What's the date of that one?
September.
September.
I think it's the week beginning the 18th.
Okay, we'll look out for it.
So that'd be good.
Cool.
Sav will be great because me and him have the
good value,
banter. Me and him have some he gives me so much stick and I give it him back.
That's what it's about, though, isn't it?
So I can always,
we do the same, don't we?
But I can always get over. The easiest way to get the Sav, is you just say, Sav, tell us what went wrong at Man U. Because he was binned by Man U and it shuts him up. So it's quite easy. But so it's been an enjoyable journey for me. I've loved every single minute. Going to Newcastle Tuesday night in the snow and the cold and freezing. I've loved every single minute of it. Every minute. I wouldn't swap a minute of it.
Could you do a top 3?
But going to Blues is still special. When I walk into the old stand where the press box is, it's fantastic. I walk up the tunnel and I think, Gil Merrican, all men walked up here. Walked up this very tunnel. When that's rebuilt, you won't be able to say that. But the other night I walked up with Andy Legg, and Andy Legg said, we used to come up here, didn't we? It has that feeling about it. And it's still...
it used to be one of the longest walks, hadn't it?
Yeah,
all the way down
without
to
a doubt. It's
half.
still a special feeling for me. And my best pal in the game is Gary Pendry. I'm godfather to his kids and his father to mine. Nice. And we... that went straight over your head. That went straight over your head. But he's still every game, Gary. Yeah. Every home game.
Does he still go there?
Every home game.
Brilliant.
Blues fanatic. Manager, captain, youngest ever captain, player, 400 appearances. Yeah. Great to see that. Still going to the games.
Blues Kung Fu.
Yeah. I tell you what, he was tough, Gary.
Yeah.
Tough full-back Gary. Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I've taken people to St Andrews that aren't Birmingham City supporters, and they always seem to have an affinity once they've been once.
Players are like that.
Always seems to be something there. It's like Sharon. She'll come round.
You miss
she'll delete the line off the phone.
Well,
different managers.
You mentioned Fergie. I was Blues played them in the Premier League, and Sir Alex was the manager. And I used to go into Steve's office before the game and have a cup of tea and get the team news and all that sort of stuff. And Fergie come in, and he introduced me, and I'm thinking, it's dour bugger. But he wasn't. He was cracking gags. He was brilliant. And he said, this place, he says, I've been, and this is exactly what he said. He said, I've been to Galatasaray. He said, but this is one of the most hostile places in the world. And I thought, brilliant.
Yeah, this is what you want to hear.
That was the atmosphere. The Blues fans create that atmosphere.
Yeah. And we need to get that back again, which is why we need to do it, but we don't need to do it with the bricks and the bottles. We need to do it with song and voice and heart and soul.
That noise.
It's just nothing like it.
Tell me a better sound than Keep Right On Ringing.
There's nothing like it. It should be the national anthem, Tom.
Yeah. But it should
be the national anthem.
For me, it's the greatest football anthem.
I can't sit down when it's being sung.
I know the Liverpool fans say, what about You'll Never Walk Alone?
No, it doesn't compare.
It's not just theirs. No. Celtic have got it.
Well, Celtic
had it first, didn't they? I think.
But Keep Right On is ours.
It's the best.
It's ours, and
it's ours.
And being,
of course, Ipswich tried to steal it back in the day.
Being Glaswegian, but I was at Ipswich when I heard their version of Singing the Blues. So I came back and rewrote it, and me and Danta did it.
Yeah,
the Blue Nose Brothers.
We were trying to find it tonight.
You get on. You get it somewhere.
Yeah, we used to have it.
Anyway, we did, and it was great. We put that to Pow, the 80s band to Pow. Rogers, he produced Dance and I doing that. down in Newport. And it was brilliant. It sold so well. I think it was about 11,000 copies.
Oh, right.
Which doesn't sound an awful lot. But that would have got you in the charts. But Callum Brady wanted most of them sold through the club shop rather than HMV because they make more profit.
Yeah.
But that day I went into HMV and saw the day's bestsellers chart.
Yeah.
And it got the Blue Nose Brothers #1 and Michael Jackson #2. That will live with me the rest. To be fair, he went on and sold 450 million albums. However, for that day in Birmingham,
he didn't have Karen Brady shouting at him from
day in Birmingham. But doing this all that Blue Nose Brothers thing, doing the thing live on Sky with Dance on their Premier League show, where I got Matt Sadler and Stephen Kelly to join the band, was funny as hell.
Brilliant.
Was funny as hell. So there's been some great memories. And just for the record, I've left Free Radio. I haven't retired. I want to make that clear because people come and say, people say, now you've retired. I ain't retired. I left Free Radio, and I left Free Radio because they didn't. 4 seasons ago, our audience survey figures, right, were the best on a Saturday afternoon of any radio station on this planet. We beat Radio 5, TalkSport, Radio 2, Radio 1, all of them, everybody. In fact, our local BBCs were 2.5, nearly 3 times more. Right? My reward, took it off. Which is like, because it cost again, you see, making more profit. And we went on to AM, and that was always a struggle for me. But then they made, from doing it, then the following year, we're only going to do so much. And the following year, which was not this season just gone, but the one before, you can only do so many games. And then last year, we're not doing any. But you can sit in the studio like you used to in 1970 odd with Butler and just read out the scores. No way. It's not me. I want to be live at football.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what's next for Tom then?
So, I decided then to wait until Bauer took over, the new owners, recently. And I thought, let's see if it changes. And when it didn't, I decided to go. And they've been brilliant with me. I've got to be honest. They've been absolutely brilliant with me. And I'm still doing work I'm still doing all the bulletins and stuff and all the team news for Free Radio. But I'm doing TalkSport on a Saturday, but there's other things happening as I speak. So watch this space.
No problem at all.
But listen, I've had the best job in the world. I ain't going to come. It ain't hard work, is it, going to a football match?
Yeah.
It can be.
The Blues fan.
Oh, it can be.
so that's it. But it's been the best life of anybody. And I had the glory days in radio, by the way, as well. And TalkSport rang me as soon as they heard I wasn't doing football and gave me games. And funny enough, this season I think I've had my first 6 games for TalkSport, 5 are Blues. So. So it's just,
you see Dance, do you at all?
Yeah, still see Dance.
Say hello to him. He's been in as well.
Yes, he told me.
He's a top lad.
Yeah, he's a great lad, Dan.
Yeah. Classic show that was.
From my hometown, I used to deliver newspapers to his mum and dad when I was a child.
Did you?
There you go.
Well,
isn't it a small world?
It's weird, isn't it? Because Dan's nicknamed the Ross Academy. He invented this phrase, the Ross Academy, like him, Jim Proudfoot, Ian Crocker, Nigel Pearson. All these came through. Mark Bolton. All came through. Jack Woodward, who went to do Villa ATV, all came through what he called the Ross Academy. I didn't get on again. How's that keep happening? They all get on apart from me.
Well, I don't know where time's gone. 9:05 already.
Is it really?
It's absolutely crazy.
I've rung the extra time whistle.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is it not 9 o'clock, is it?
We're in extra time now, yeah.
Just not long enough, is it?
5 past, yeah.
Is that
so
really?
So
we're going
to
flown by, innit?
First half of the extra time's gone, so we've got another 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Another 5 minutes.
Who got injured?
Could you do a top 3 moments in radio?
Let's put him on the spot.
I think top 3 moments in radio for me was doing my first game on BRMB, which was Blues away at Stoke in 1981, 0-0. And I came back, I thought I'd done a great job. I was really pleased with it. And the next day we played the BRMB team. I was asked to play for them at Tally-Ho, and I walked in preening myself. I'd done a great job. And Butler went, "That's the best you can do. You can sod off back to BBC." That was it. Hey, he made me realise.
The guy didn't mince his words,
but when you think about it now, he was making sure I didn't get carried away, and I realised I've got to work even harder, and that's real good management. So that was one moment for me. I think the radiothon that I did when I was breakfast show presenter on, I did a breakfast show for 14 years, and I did the radiothon, just my own idea. I decided after the tsunami I wanted to do something, and I said, I'm going to do this radiothon get all my mates in, Steve Bruce, all the lads from the pop groups and John, all come in and do half an hour with me, and you can pledge for a song and we'll play it. And my target was £5,000. I raised £147,000 on AM, not on FM. Yeah. The whole FM capital network, the whole country raised $500,000, and I raised 147 of that, which was totally amazing. I was blown away with the generosity of people. Steve Bruce came in with a big envelope that the players had put a load of dough in. Amazing, absolutely amazing. That will live with me a long, long time. When you think of how much money that is, 147 grand. So that was one. And I think radio moments, I can't think of, every moment I've been on air I've loved, but certainly I think the Carling Cup final winning goal will stay with me. That moment, just and the see Barry Ferguson clipping Kashani around the head and going, thanks, pal. I just got,
Kashani just took it though, didn't
and
he?
I think what made it sweeter was that they'd arranged for their injured player to pick up the trophy, and I loved it. I loved it. It
was sad though. The only downside of that day for me was the fact that the Arsenal fans had just disappeared as soon as the final whistle went.
You know what? I didn't care.
No, I know. Do you know, I'll tell you what else I did like. For me that day, standing there with all three of my boys, right, and it's hard for me to get them all three together. My son Luke stood outside St Andrews for 14 and a half hours in a light jacket. And it was peeing down the rain for his tickets.
And he got amazing.
We were ringing him, and his brother was taking him cups of coffee over, and because they lived in Birmingham at that time, I couldn't get over. But to go and witness that moment with me three lads, who I've passed the Birmingham City gene on to.
Well, fans are what it's about, isn't it? Yeah. Not radio presenters, not like fans. Yeah. Fans and footballers is what the game's about. And I remember doing a West Brom against Derby in the playoff final at Wembley. And Albion got beat. And I'm telling you now, before the fans had got down Wembley Way, some of the players are doing interviews with us about, I've got to think about my future because I want to play in the Premier League. And Albion fans are crying on the terraces, and I'm thinking, is that what the game's about? And one Albion fan, I called him last man standing, nobody in the ground apart from him and the Derby fans at the other end. And he's waving his Albion flag and his own. And I thought that was a wonderful moment. And one day a woman come to BRMB and knocked the door, and she went, speak to Tom, and she only worked across the road in Lee Longlands. She said, I've come to see you because I wrote about it in the Mail. And she said, that was my husband. And I said, oh, brilliant, I've got to come meet him. So I met him, and sadly he passed away not too long afterwards. But he summed up exactly what fans are about, while the players were talking about moving on to better things.
Something of what the footballers are about.
And fans, because with us, it's lifelong, it's in your blood. Yeah. We don't come for we don't have you don't get a 4-year contract as a Blues fan. You get a lifetime contract, and that's the difference. But
Still trying to find the clause in that lifetime contract.
Well, on my epitaph, it'll say, "The game's gone, and now I have."
There you go, and so must we. That's been one of the most amazing hour and a half that we've had on the Tilton Talk Show in 5 seasons. Tom, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you.
No, it's been brilliant.
You can come any time.
I'd love to come back again.
We do have to have a little vote at the end of each of the show to find out whether you're going to be a friend of the show or not, Thomas, to be perfectly honest with you. Mr. Pugh?
It's a close one, but I'll go for yes.
Mr. Brown?
A friend of the show.
A friend of the show.
Well, you should all be locked up there. You're easily pleased.
We've got hundreds of comments. Great show, says Adam Cave. Michael Greaves, brilliant. Tony Bradley, great interview. Tom is a true blue. Adam Henry, Adam Henry owns the stream. He's gone about streaming the show. Won't talk about that one. James Brown, glad the show's back, lads. Not sure it's been asked, but how well does Tom think we'll do this season?
It hasn't been asked yet, has it, Tom?
Welcome.
Well, I can tell you. Let me. I know. We're in time added on now. Golden goal time.
We've come back for the lap of honour.
And this is where a lot of Blues fans might disagree. I think if, based on the squad as it is,
yes,
I think we'll
do well today.
We'll do well to get 10th.
I've put 14th.
We do well to get 10th. The money that's spent now in the Championship, with the rewards as they are, we will do well. Now, as I said the other day, Leicester proved that sometimes Cinderella does go to the ball. So who knows? But if I was putting my house on it, I'd have to say no better than 10th as it stands.
Okay,
that's good. Jasper Coat reckons you were a great electrician. I think that must be a private thing that I don't know about.
No, Jasper, it's quite funny because he wrote the foreword in my book. And I was never an electrician, but as I said to you, I was in the electrical industry. But Jasper said in my foreword, because he came to my wedding as well, and he said, only the Pope's been to the altar more times than Tom.
David Power said, Tom, proper blue nose, keep lights on, all the best. Wayne Morris said, Tom Ross, what a legend. There you go. They go on and on and on and on. There's hundreds of them. So,
right, what we're going to do, Tom, fantastic. As part of this season's Tilton Talk, because it looks like we're going to get quite a few good guests in this year. We're going to write the transcripts out, get whoever to sign them, and then we're going to immortalise them into a Tilton Talk folder, so that in generations to come, Chris's great-grandchildren can look back and say...
Words in, doesn't he?
Oh no, I ain't got a clue what he's talking about.
Chris's great-grandchildren.